Hi everyone, I'm abir.abbas, an AI developer, a creative technologist who studies in both in Bangladesh and in Germany, and who has moved around 13 countries, observed various business opportunities. And today I'm here today to show you I've been writing for the last 2 years, and I have developed myself. To retake my write-ups to reach out to 289k plus people all over the world. And yeah, as an AI developer, that you can write with AI and everything. But as you say, there are some critical issues like hallucinations and bad quality writing. So throughout my practices, I'm sharing how one can build their own write-ups for the future, or maybe for their own pleasure, soul, and nourishment. So, the first thing, you can use AI to write, right? Like the first draft, you can come up with it. But most of the time, you will see most of the time, it creates the most absurd thing, right? So, if you're working with coding, or if you're working with bugs, right, it will also create some false positives because that's the main root cause is transformers model or the mixture of expert model that is being used in LLMs. They have some hallucination problem. It's like architectural bug of feature, you can say. But if you're not, you can create your write-ups in a quality way, leveraging various mental models. What are mental models? First, you have to know. Mental models are models of thinking, a process, like a framework that has been used or leveraged by various people throughout the generations to build better decision making, create new innovation, and more streamlined life. Right? So, normally these mental models have been used in the Western world, to be honest, because we are in this era where we are from Bangladesh. If you're from Bangladesh, you have known about the West all of the time, like you know about USA, Germany, Canada, right? These are all like Western world, and this Western world has their own way of developing things. And these mental models have been used by various people to create stuff and to move forward and take that technology way ahead than the others. So in Asia, I think Singapore has been developing this kind of mental models, and Malaysia, most probably. But yeah, they're still lagging behind in a lot of places. Anyway, let's get back to you have understood mental modeling. Now you can understand critical thinking. What is critical thinking? So in Bangladesh education system, you have always seen hey, I have done this. This is completed. I've done a school. I finished SSC. I finished HSC. I finished universities. This is what you are just going through this completion of degrees and degrees and degrees. But it's not actually creating anything for you. Okay, you might be in a club. You might get this title. What does this actually mean for impact, right? What kind of impact are you creating? Nothing. So most of the time, people gets lost in decision making. For example, I have lost in my decision making a couple of times. I've got in really big trouble. And then again, so it's very, very, very much important to have uh, critical thinking. Means it's like you've got to have the positives on side, you have to have the negatives, right? And you have to have this gray zone. So totally, you have to have a concrete sense of understanding what you are doing. Yes, it's going to take you time of doing stuff. Of course, action rewards, there is a saying, right? Action rewards the real life. So what is my mind going to do with critical thinking? Well, there are three things. For example, you're going to be less scammed. You understand who is your friend and who is your foe easily. Third, it's more of crafting better solutions. It will create better understanding to your mind what you are learning and understanding and thinking, right? So you can actually connect things, what you are learning and what you're applying in real life. You will not hate your jobs, to be honest. So if you don't develop this critical thinking, that's where the problems happen or the itch happens where hey, I don't like this job. Why is this so repetitive? Why is this so painful? Why is this needed? I must relate to this to you guys. Like there was once like where I was really fed up with this bureaucracy and everything, right? Yes, everybody's fed up with bureaucracy. Like, but in those bureaucratic points, we did have some understanding. So every culture is different, and some culture prefers precision, some culture prefers imperfection. But ultimately, documents showcase helps you to not get scammed easily. Of course, even though documents will get scammed, a lot of companies create these documents from out of nowhere, and it creates their brands and everything, and then just fuck off, right? We can just say about flight expert and go in Bangladesh. There's a lot of happening, and then again, higher studies and everything. One must know how to document, and this documentation and templates, the understanding comes from this critical thinking, right? Like, where will you put your more effort and where will you not put more effort, right? Throughout my life, in like I have faced in so many situations and everything where I have put so much effort for, and the outcome, if you just consider, is zero. So I believe I could blame the environment, I could blame myself, I could blame the others, I can blame the country and everything. But what happens is it's more of not having the proper knowledge or information to act on, right? I had really, of course, you cannot always act on full information. Sometimes you got to act because time is efficiency and time is of money, you see. So anyway, this is called critical thinking. So in your write-ups, you can actually develop your critical thinking, and everything is through writing. And writing is thinking, and thinking gets you better results and better outputs and outcomes in life. Anyway, let's show you how I build my own write-ups nowadays, or how I take feedbacks from others to craft better solutions. Let me show you. Okay, I will share my screen. So I was actually editing this write-up. It's about LLM productivity hack. So when I was like using cursor, when I was using cloudy code, and of course AI writes code for you, but ultimate decision maker, it's you. Even your agents, you have to tell your agents, hey, what do you want? If you don't tell your agents what you want, you cannot act on it. So somebody has to do or start. Someone has to initiate. And to do initiation, and you will face problems, face issues, because agents, of course, have uh, went into a lot of development, and then I would say this is the decades of agents. So because this is the decade of agents, there are still a lot of things to solve. So we are going to show you if your agents of your LLMs face problems and everything. Sometimes you have to do it manually, and if you want to do it manually, you have to see through it. Like, what can you do? So this is what I did. So the kind of project I use is like I used issue trees. So what is an issue tree? So consider it's not about coding. In any problem, there are a lot of ways of problem solving, and there are a lot of problem solving frameworks you can use to make it easier for you. It's not that it's going to help you solve every problem, but it will help you come up with a solution easier way. Okay, to come up with it. So that's why I use an issue trees here. And in my issue tree, you can actually understand where might be the root, right? It's like structured problem solving example. It's like meeting flowchart logic. That's how I wrote my. So first I wrote what is the problem a developer might face. Then I said solution, issue trees. Then I use a step-by-step understanding. What is an issue tree? What can you use and what you happens when you put in LLMs this issue? What kind of prompts you have to use? So I created, okay, I analyze the following for potential solve performance issues, restart delays. Then I generate issue tree mapping function. Then I compared those model outputs from the different LLMs. You have to remember, Every LLM is different. T, Gemini has their own data sets of code. Right? Of course, they share a lot of things, like DeepSeek also, uh, but they also have different criteria, repositories they have used. So when you use only one LLM, it's very difficult to solve something. You are going to face problems. When you combine two or three, means you're combining multiple patterns and finding the proper solutions. So this is what we did. Okay, an issue diagram shows you, okay, it just breaks you down to identify the problem, break down the problem, identify the issue, propose the solution, implement the solution. Then you can just implement it and see if it works or not. Most of the time, I don't know, like in our last couple of coding things, issues have helped you even debug Rust code. It's one of the most difficult coding in the world, programming language. So, so that's the thing. And why would you use LLM as a debugger? Well, this LLMs, because LLMs, of course, it might take your job, but it also helps you debug faster. You get efficient. You have more time for yourself. You don't have to uh, spend 1,000 hours for unnecessary reason. But yeah, anyway, this is not a silver bullet. This can also have a snake. So this is why I use all these disclaimers. I have call to action things. What can you do? And yeah, let us know what kind of problem solving method or mental models are you using in your write-ups. I'm looking forward. Thank you. Thank you for watching me. Of course, I don't know. This is my first live stream, so sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't like it. Please let us know in the feedbacks or comments and everything. Like, how can we make our streaming better, and what are you looking for actually? Like, I know, like everybody's making things about AI, about tools, and everything. What is it that you are fearing? Like, I know that there are a lot of layoffs. Again, there's a layoff going on in Amazon, and yeah, one more hint, find jobs in data centers. They cannot fire you ever. And if you have some referrals, please let us know. Thank you.